Hey guys, this is Josh Farley back with another video. And in this video, I'm actually going to be talking about Android versus iPhone or iPhone versus Android. And I'm actually going to be talking about why I choose Android over iPhone, or Android over iOS, whatever you want to call it. And I'm also going to be discussing why I recommend rooting Android phones. So let's actually get into this video. I actually used to use iPhone for years. I actually used to use iPhone in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, especially when I was in high school. A lot of people, used to use iPhones, in the early 2000s, to mid 2000s, especially, back in high school, back in my high school days. Basically, the main reason that I actually switched from iPhone to Android, is because of the lack of customization, and stuff like that. The lack of usability, userability, and stuff like that. Just things that you're not able to do, with iPhone, compared to Android or iOS, compared to Android. A lot of people know, that Android, you can do a heck of a lot more, right out of the box, than you can with an iOS device, or an iPhone, device. Apple, they're more, like user, friendly, if you want to call it that. They're more like, they just want to make a basic phone, which I kind of understand that, especially for like older people, and stuff like that, that just want a basic phone, they don't all want, all these other bells and whistles and stuff, I kind of get that. But, for people that actually want to customize their phone, and use it, how they want it, that's not iOS, that's not iOS. You can customize iOS, a little bit more than you used to be able to, but it's still nowhere near, on par with Android. It's just not. You just can't, you just can't do as much, with an iPhone, or an iOS device, as you can do with an Android phone, or an Android device. So, that's basically the main reason, why I switched to, Android, from iPhone. It wasn't really a bad experience, with the software. I mean, the software was really good. It ran very well. I had iPhone 4, I had an iPhone 4S, I had an iPhone 5, a phenomenal, the iPhone 5 was really good, a really phenomenal phone. I just got tired of feeling, like it was locked down, which it was. The only way, that I was actually able to get away with that, with it not feeling as locked down, is actually the jailbreaking. And the problem with that is, it was always a cat mouse game with Apple, and jailbreak developers, because, Apple would always be trying to block the exploits, for jailbreaking, and it's gotten to the point now, where jailbreaking is so hard to do, that developers don't even try to do it anymore. I don't even know if there's a jailbreak available right now for iPhones. I doubt that there is, because Apple's security has gotten so much better, that it's hard, for developers, to find exploits and stuff. That's, the main reason, why I switched, from iPhone to Android, because of the, the customization, stuff like that, being able to download anything you want, stuff like that, you can just do so much more with Android, than you can with an iPhone or an iOS device, and a lot of people know that. That's basically, iPhone versus Android, or Android versus iPhone, and basically, the reason, the main reasons why I switched, from iPhone to Android. So I can actually talk about rooting next. The other, big thing here is with Android, you can root, Android devices, and you don't have to actually worry about, what software version you're on, or what, firmware version you're on. With iPhone, you had to actually worry about, what iOS version you were on with jailbreaking. So if you, and you don't have to root your Android device either. You can, you can do customization, with an Android device right out of the box. You can, customize Android right out of the box. box. You don't have to worry about, rooting it or anything to be able to do that. But if you want to be able to customize it better, you can root. That's one main reason, that I actually root, to customize it better, because there are specific things out there, specific apps, APKs, root modules and stuff, that you can use, but you're not going to be able to use that stuff, unless your phone is rooted. Basically, rooting is basically like jailbreaking, when, with iPhone. But rooting is actually a lot easier now because it's actually done systemously. And I can actually show you guys, I actually am on the latest version of the Android operating system. I can actually go into System here and go to System. It says your Pixel is up to date. And it shows right here, System Update, updated to April 5th, 2024, security patch. So I'll actually show you guys I am rooted, as you can see right there. I have Magisk installed, which is the APK for the root access and everything. And as you guys can see, I have all my root, super user stuff. I have my modules, all that kind of stuff. I have Lsposed installed, which is like a fork of Exposed. I'm sure that a lot of you, guys know about Exposed and stuff. From, years ago of Android rooting and stuff. And I have a lot of other, root APKs available. I have DarkHue, Classic Power Menu Iconify, that's a big one. Install with options. I have Pixel Expert, that's a really big one for Google Pixel devices. It allows you to, basically customize your phone. Basically however you want it. Revanced Manager, Saver Tuner, System UI Tuner, all that kind of stuff. Side Disk Detach, stuff like that. Lucky Patcher, Swift Backup, which requires root, stuff like that. So, as you guys can see, I can, now that rooting is done systemously, but anyway, now that rooting is done systemously, you can root, basically any, Android, device, any Android device running any Android software. It doesn't matter if it's Android 13, doesn't matter if it's Android 12, Android 10, whatever they still support, the latest updates, Android 14, the latest on any phone, any phone, Samsung, OnePlus, Motorola, stuff like that. But the main thing that I actually want to talk about here with rooting is the main caveat to rooting is if you buy a phone from a carrier, you have to keep in mind that you're not going to be able to root that phone because the bootloader is going to be locked. So you have to actually buy your phones outright. Unlocked. You have to buy your phone unlocked, so you can actually unlock the bootloader. So if you buy a phone from a carrier, the bootloader is actually going to be locked. So you're not going to be able to root it, if the bootloader is locked, because what people were actually doing was they were actually buying, or renting, basically paying monthly for these phones, from carriers, and then what they were actually doing was they would actually, unlock the bootloader, and then root their phone and then install like a Magisk module or something, or an APK or an app or something, and they would unlock their phone, and then they would actually be able to use their phone on any carrier. So that's definitely not a good thing, for these carriers. So they put a stop to that by locking the bootloader. So really, the only way that you can actually root your phone, whether it be a Samsung, a Motorola, a OnePlus, a Google, Pixel phone, any other, Android phones out there. The only way that you can actually root them is if you buy your phone unlocked, factory unlocked, and that's what I always do. I have my Google Pixel 8 Pro here, that I'm recording on. This is factory unlocked. And then I have my my Google Pixel 7a as well, and I bought that factory unlocked as well. And not only that, it's more, convenient as well, because if you ever want to change carriers, you can, with a flip of a switch, you you can just change it to whatever carrier you want. I'm actually on T-Mobile, and I'm going to stay with them, because we have T-Mobile 5G home internet as well. So I'm going to stay with them. I've been with them for years. But it still gives me better options. I know that some people can't actually buy their phones outright. But the thing that you can actually do with that is, on Amazon, you can actually, on Amazon or Best Buy, they have some things that you can do, where you can actually pay monthly for it, like $30 or $35, a month, to buy an unlocked phone. You're not actually going to own it right away. But, you can make payments on it, instead of, getting it through a carrier. So that's, basically what you would have to do, in order to, in order to root your phone, in other words. But it's definitely worth it, compared to iOS, or iPhone, because you don't actually have to wait, around for another software update. If you accidentally update your phone, with a rooted Android phone, it's not like it was with iOS where you would actually have to wait, for another update, another developer, to come out with another iOS jailbreak or something, like that, or find another exploit, or something like that, because it's done systemously, so rooting is definitely, a lot better, and I can actually come down here, and it says, it actually says right here, editor's note. It says rooting Android devices requires a high level of tinkering and modifying your phone's software. This can be risky, and there is a chance you'll damage your handset. So you do have to keep that in mind, about installing things. You have to keep that in mind. Just, be mindful of what you install and everything, especially when your phone is rooted. It says you might, and there's a chance you damage your handset. This is terrible news, considering rooting Android may void your warranty. But with rooting Android nowadays, it's not going to really void your warranty, because you can actually reset it. You can factory reset it, and then you can actually relock your bootloader. It's possible to do that. I do that all the time. I actually just traded in a Google Pixel 8 for my Google Pixel 8 Pro, and I had that phone rooted, and Best Buy didn't give me any hassle. I took it there, I unrooted it, I factory reset it, and then I relocked the bootloader, and they didn't say anything. They just gave me the money for it. So it's not like it used to be, with how it would actually be hardened, into your device. It's not like that anymore. It's actually done systemously, systemously, yeah, so, as I should say. It's systemless root, basically, as I'm trying to say. So it does say, always do your research, and be confident about your steps taking, about your steps you're taking, as no one but you will be responsible, should anything happen to your device, which is true. You do kind of, stand a chance of, damaging your device, if you don't know what you're installing, if you don't know what you're doing, stuff like that. So definitely do your research, before you actually, do root your device. I'm not going to really read this whole article, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to really, get too much into it, but this is, this is basically what I recommend. I recommend rooting your phone, because you can just do so much more with it, but you can do a lot with Android, as it is right out of the box anyway, compared to iPhone, or iOS. That's why I choose Android, over iOS or over iPhone, because you can just do so much, with it, right out of the box. But, rooting is basically like, adding icing on the cake, and sprinkles and stuff. You want to get, technical about it. It's basically, giving you more control, over your phone. Like I've said, to people, some of my friends, they don't actually root their phones. I know a lot of people, that actually have Android phones. A lot of my friends do, and they tell me, that they don't need to root their phone. But you never know, when you're going to come across something that you're going to need root access for. You never know. I've come across apps before I try to actually go without rooting my phone before. And I've come across apps before where I've installed them and I needed root access and I didn't have it. So it's kind of like it's kind of like an iffy thing. If you do need it, if you want it, you can have it. If you don't want it, you can't. It's kind of like an iffy thing. If you want it, you can. If you don't, you don't. It's kind of like a third party, thing. If you want it, you can have it. If you don't, you don't. It's just up to you. It's up to you if you really want it or not. It's not a must have thing, but it's not, basically, like I said, it's like the icing and the sprinkles on the cake. You can have, I get my words jumbled up here. Sorry about that. But, it's basically just like having a better, experience, because you can do more theming. You can, download more things. You can use modules. You can just do so much more, if your phone is rooted. I'm sorry about getting my, words and everything jumbled up, talking about, third party stuff and everything. But it basically is like a third party thing. It's basically like a third party, app store, basically, but it's like a root, store, basically. It's super user, you have modules, all that kind of stuff. It's basically, it basically is kind of like a third party app store. And then you have LSPOs, you can throw in there as well. Like I said, and there's modules in here that I have as well, as you can see, repository, you can, come in here and search for modules and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of is like a third party, app store, basically, rooting and stuff. So, but, like I said, it's up to you guys, if you want to root your phone, it's up to you guys, but that's, just what I do. I myself, I can't really live without root. I have to have my phone rooted, that's just how I am. I just think that it's better, like I said, it's basically the icing on the cake for Android. You can already do so much, with Android right out of the box. But when you root it, you have like full control, like full control, basically of your phone. You can do, just so much more. And, like I like to say, I tell my friends this, but, they don't really, worry about rooting like I do. But I tell my friends this, if you root your phone, or if you don't root your phone, I tell them this all the time. If you don't root your phone, in my opinion, you're not using it to its full potential. That's basically what I like to say, which is basically true. Because you're not using it to its full potential. Rooting is free. So you might as well use it. It's open source. It's free, so you might as well, just do it. You might as well just do it. So, but anyway, yeah, guys, that's basically the video. Like I said, I just wanted to touch on rooting a little bit. Like I said, it's basically up to you guys. I'm not, really telling you guys that you should root your phones or anything. But it's basically up to you guys. But, I also wanted to touch on, iPhone versus Android, and Android versus iPhone. I just wanted to talk about this, and let you guys, know what I, actually choose. I'm going to be team Android, forever, most likely, for good, unless they really change it, and make it terrible or something, which, I don't really see that happening. I don't, really see Google, making that happen or anything. So, but anyway, yeah, guys, I'll actually leave the links down below in the description, to both of these articles, to the, Tom's Guide article, and also to this one, root Android, everything you need to know, and stuff like that. I'll leave the links down below in the description, to both of these articles. Like I said, I'm going to be team Android. That's just how I am. iPhone is not bad. But for people, that want customization, people that want to actually have their phone, how they want it, Android is definitely the way to go. For people, that just want, a simple phone, for texting and calling, stuff like that, with minimal, customization, stuff like that, iPhone is most likely for you, then. But, for me, I like customization, I like being able able to, make my phone how I want it. So that's, basically how I am, but, everybody's different. So, I just wanted to get this video out there, and let you guys know, what I choose and, what I think, and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I will leave the link down below in the description to the Tom's Guide article here, and I'll also leave the link down below in the description to this root article here, for Android users, the Android Authority root article here, and I'll also try to find more information on rooting as well, because every device is different. So I actually try to find a like a tutorial, on rooting. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link down below in the description to that, as well, because every device is different when it comes to installing root, or gaining root access with Magisk and everything. So I'll leave a link down below in the description. I'll try to find an article, for how to root, basically any phone, not just my Google Pixel 8 Pro, or anything like that. I'm not going to leave an article, down below in the description to that, because that's not really, what this video is about. So, but anyway, yeah, guys, like I said, I just wanted to get this video out there. And if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.